Welcome. This is Clay Richardson with Forrester Research, and I'll be chatting a little bit about an upcoming session I will have at OMG's, Object Management Group's Business Ecology Initiative Conference. And so the topic that I'll be focused on is what we call process data management. And Forrester introduced this concept back in 2009, and it was really the culmination of research on BPM and research on MDM that looked at how these two initiatives really need to come together to support one another. And so if I get in a time capsule here for a second and I go back to 2009, beginning of 2009, this whole concept came about as a result of a research report that I was focused on called the BPM Tech Radar. And basically Forrester does what we call technology radars, or tech radars for short, that look at the maturity and evolution of different components within a particular ecosystem. And in my case, I was looking at the different components that support and make up the BPM ecosystem. And so within this, we really wanted to assess the maturity of all of these different components. And one of the components that popped out during this research was this combination of master data management and business process management. And we really highlighted this as an emerging trend, as a very new trend. We didn't see a lot of customers doing it at that point, but we saw the need and the demand. We saw on one side business process management and business process improvement initiatives that were running into major hurdles around master data, and then we saw master data management initiatives running into major hurdles around process. And so I worked with my colleague, fellow Forrester analyst Rob Carroll, who covers MDM, to begin bringing these two worlds together under the banner of process data management. And so when we first started looking deeper at this, so once we got past the tech radar and said, this is a key issue, we started doing surveys to look at how master data management and business process initiatives were coming together or were being synchronized. And one of the things that we found is really master data management professionals and business process professionals view data and process very differently. And so when we asked process professionals, business process professionals about master data, most scratched their heads. So in our surveys, most responded, you know, we really don't deal with master data. And then when we spoke to master data professionals, a lot of them said, yeah, we understand process, but really we're all about cleansing data. And they didn't necessarily connect their initiatives to process. And so in the survey, what's really interesting, when we got the data back from a big survey we did around master data management and business process management, we found that only 8% of respondents had a coordinated approach around master data and business process. And 83% reported minimal or no interaction at all. And so we really saw this as a major issue. And when we dug even deeper, we really saw a lot of confusion and really project stalling as a result of not being connected, the master data and business process initiatives being disconnected. And so we asked ourselves, well, why aren't these two teams working together? Like, we wanted to understand the dynamics. And part of what we see on the process side, and what we'll dig into during my session, is that process professionals really don't find data sexy and don't even deal with master data until much further into their BPM initiative. So what we found typical of BPM or process pros is they really understand the importance of master data after their third or fourth project. And then it's too late. Then it's really let's fix the problem as opposed to getting ahead of the problem. And so we've seen this, what we call a vicious cycle of process failure, vicious cycle of process data management failure is what we call it. And basically it's this idea of master data issues not being addressed from the outset of the BPM initiative. And then once the BPM initiative takes off, it encounters this garbage in, garbage out problem that creates confusion. And so the stakeholders using processes begin to distrust their processes while they're running. And ultimately, this conflict reinforces a siloed approach to business process management. And so it's really the cycle when it's not addressed up front, data management issues not addressed up front for BPM, it leads to distrust of the data, which ultimately leads to distrust of the process. And then we asked ourselves, so we kind of started understanding why business process professionals don't address master data and the problems it causes or leads to. But then we started to look at, what about master data management professionals? Why don't master data management professionals place high value on process? And so when we look at the real pitfall of these two initiatives being disconnected, when we start to get into predictive analytics and business analytics and business intelligence, all of these different pieces, if master data and process are not connected, we're finding that firms are building their decision foundation on a faulty framework because the decisions that are being made are based on poor quality process and poor quality data. So in order to have a solid foundation, we recommend teams focus on process data management as a key enabler. And so during the session, we'll actually walk through how to connect master data management and business process management to go from a vicious cycle of process data failure to a virtuous cycle of process data improvement and process data management. And so look forward to seeing you at the event. Definitely if you have any questions during the event, we'll answer those.